Target player gains 5 life. That's me. Target creature or planeswalker or player. And then 5 damage to any target. That's the shark. And then I guess just auto pay. Right, as long as we're leaving our mystical dispute up. He can't counter because Teferi, and we get to draw 5 cards, which is really nice. That might help. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. Today we're looking at another new meta deck making its breakout appearance. It's Jeskai Control. Typically, this was not a very strong deck. This was more a jank build that I like to use with Ionize and stuff. However, the new Narset of Ancient Way really ties a nice control deck together for us. So I think Azor's Control is on its way out and Jeskai Control is on its way in. I like this deck more than I'm willing to admit. I think this might be the build that we do our monthly deep dive into. So let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that in the comments below. So as always, we're going to take a look at our deck list, talk about our deck strategy, get into our video for the day, and then come full circle with our closing thoughts. Before we do, I want to remind you guys that this video is brought to you by aetherhub.com and MTG Assistant, which you can download through the link in the description below. All right, thank you guys for watching. I am live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. I love your company. And if you're watching this on YouTube, which I'm sure you are, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to hit that bell icon so you're notified of our future uploads. And then I urge you to join our Discord. We have over 750 members now of all skill sets, all helping each other. It's a really, really friendly community. With that being said, let's get into our deck list. Our deck list starts out with 1 copy of Karuga the Macro Sage in our sideboard. It is the companion, which means we get to play it at any point from our sideboard during the game for the first time, after which it just goes to the graveyard. The companion rule is your starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater and land cards. When Karuga the Macro Sage enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. We have 4 copies of Bone Crusher Giant for 3. It's a 4/3, and when he becomes the target of a spell, Bone Crusher Giant deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. He has an adventure tagged onto him called Stomp. It is an instant for 2. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. 2 copies of Mystical Dispute, costing 3 normally. However, this spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue spell. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. We have 4 copies of Narset, Parter of Veils for 3, coming in with 5 loyalty counters, a static ability of each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn, a -2 ability of look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-land, non-creature card from among them, put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. 4 copies of Teferi Time Raveler, coming in with 4 loyalty tokens. Each each opponent can only cast spells anytime they could cast a sorcery as his static ability, and then a +1 ability until your next turn. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash, and -3 return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand and draw a card. 2 Deafening Clarion, choose 1 or both, deal 3 damage to each creature. Creatures you control gain a lifelink until end of turn. We have 3 copies of Narset of the Ancient Ways for 4, coming in with 4 loyalty counters, no passive ability, a +1 of you gain 2 life, add Jeskai mana, spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell, -2, draw a card, then you may discard a card. When you do, discard a non-land card this way. Narset of the Ancient Ways deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Obviously, if they do not control one, you don't want to discard a card, because if you do, it's going to force you to deal damage to your own creature or planeswalker. -6, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. Just rush it to 6 and minus down. That's how you're going to win games here, you guys. 4 copies of Elspeth Conquers Death, one of my favorite cards still. This is an enchantment saga, meaning it fires 3 times at the beginning of each of the 3 turns. So when you play it, and then at the beginning of your second upkeep, and then your third upkeep. Exile target permanent and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. That's great. Exile effects are awesome. Non-creature spells your opponent casts cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. That's alright, it's not the worst. And turn 3, return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter or a loyalty counter on it. That's awesome, right? That's a great way to dig up our planeswalkers, or maybe even our Kruga if we need. Moving on, we do have 2 copies of Warrant/Warden. Warrant is probably not too great unless he's attacking your planeswalker and you need to keep it alive to -6 it. Put target attacking or blocking creature on top of its owner's library, and Warden for 5, which is probably our go-to. Create a 4/4 white and blue Sphinx creature token with flying and vigilance. Shark Typhoon, another one of my favorite cards here. This costs 6, a little expensive, but we're running 4 copies of it because that's how good it is. An enchantment that is, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. So at minimum, it's going to be a 3/3 shark with flying. That's awesome. Cycling for 2 plus X. Whenever you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. So this is great to do if you can't get it out and you need a body on the floor. You can cycle it on your opponent's end step. You can also cycle it on the block phase for a flash blocker, right? That's a lot of fun. Inspired Ultimatum for 7 Jeskai colors. Target player gains 5 life. Inspired Ultimatum deals 5 damage to any target. Then you draw 5 cards. These hefty spells are accompanied by 1 Castle Ardenvale, 2 Plains, 1 Castle Vantress, 3 Islands, 3 Mountains, 3 Hollowed Fountains, 2 Steam Vents, 2 Sacred Foundries, 4 Rogren Triomes, and 4 Fable Passages. The Castle Ardenvale can tap for 4 plus itself, equaling 5, creating a 1/1 creature token, and the Castle Vantress can also tap for 5 total to scry 2. Again, these are really good to do as flash blockers or just on your opponent's end step. So, with that being said, that's the deck. Today, I just played best of 1, but we do have the sideboard. If you're interested in best of 3, we're going to share that with you guys in the deck list. If you're interested, it's 2 more Disputes, 2 Ashiok Dream Renders, 2 more Deafening Clarions, a Shark on the Masterless, 2 Commence the Endgames, 2 Chandra Awakened Infernos, 2 Dream Crawlers, and an additional Inspired Ultimatum. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this deck tech, or I guess this deck list. We've not even done the deck tech yet. We need to talk about the strategy now. So Jeskai Control is your general control deck. You're not playing creatures. You are looking to control the battlefield, limit your opponent's hand and board presence, right? So if you can get him top decking before you're top decking, chances are you're going to win the match. We do this a few ways. Obviously, if it's any form of creature deck, we have Shatter the Sky. We can play this, wipe the field. We also have Deafening Clarion, which is also a new must almost, because Winota is able to basically win the game on turn 4. So we really need to wipe the field on turn 3, especially of all non-human creatures. So we have a couple way of dealing with aggro decks. We also have Bone Crusher Giant that is a good form of removal through Stomp, which is going to get us through the first part. We have cards like Mystical Dispute if we're running into another control deck. Say he plays his Teferi on turn 3. No, you don't. There's Mystical Dispute. You can stop that right in its tracks. So that's basically your early game. You're either surviving against aggro or trying to limit how far or how well control can get set up. Again, get Teferi out there, get Narset out there as soon as possible. These are very oppressive cards, shutting down your opponent's draw and shutting down your opponent's instant speed, basically, right? So that's great. Teferi, especially if it's a control deck. Narset, if it's any form of ramp deck, right? We talked about Shatter the Sky protecting us from basically any aggro deck. We also want to really prioritize our shatters if we're coming in against any Dream Trawlers, right? Narset of the Ancient Ways. This is a lot of fun. The plus lets us ramp into our Inspired Ultimatum. That's great. It also lets us get our Shark Typhoon out if we've not pulled enough land, right? So we can pull our Shark Typhoon and our Inspired Ultimatum both a turn early with Narset. That's sick. The -2, I think, is the real sleeper, though. We can kill any Planeswalker on the field, basically. We can kill almost any creature if it's not a Dream Trawler. Cry. Just because we're drawing a card and we can exile a 7, a 6, a 5, a 3. We have like so many options just to pick off whatever he has. And then, of course, her -6 ability, just put that out and you're going to win the game because all we're casting is non-creature spells. It's as easy as that. The only thing I want to add is you plus your Teferi and you instant speed your 4/4 Sphinx out there, right? So he can flash block. That's really nice. And then you can also flash block by cycling your Shark Typhoon, or you can just play your Shark Typhoon, which is what I recommend, and then just start making that Shark army, right? Inspired Ultimatum, I would only cast if you have a Teferi on the field, because that is a lot of mana to have your opponent easily counter the spell, right? So please have a Teferi on the field before you cast Inspired Ultimatum. Don't forget about your Castle Ardenvale and your Castle Vantress. Put a stop on your opponent's end step if it helps you remember. I know I have to. That's one thing that I do for sure. That's basically the deck. Don't be scared to discard your planeswalkers or your creatures with Narset's ability, because much like our Esper Walkers list, we can bring them back from our graveyard with our Elspeth Conquers Death. So that's a great synergy there as well. If you guys have any questions, be sure to reach out to me in the Discord. I'd be happy to help you. With that all being said, we're live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. We're going to burn that into everybody's brains. I'm sure you're watching this on YouTube as well, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you found value here, give me a thumbs up, and then hit that bell icon so you're notified of our future uploads. Thanks for watching. Now let's get into today's gameplay footage. Okay, guys, this is the new Jeskai Fires, featuring Narset of the Ancient Way and Inspired Ultimatum, both of which have somehow found their way into our opening hand with the appropriate amount of land. This is too good to be true. A control deck on the opposing side is pretty cringe, let's be honest, right? Less than ideal. Omen of the Sea, fine. Scry 2, draw a card, go ahead. I guess he knows what we're playing just based on our Triumph. So the land we put with our passage doesn't necessarily matter. However, let's go ahead and grab our least common land in the deck. Actually, no, we should grab our most common land in the deck. And our Inspired Ultimatum requires 3 mountains, so maybe that's a good idea to start there. Again, I don't think we need to hold up 3 land for anything, so we can go ahead, play it nice and chill, entering tapped. And now we just have our Bone Crusher Giant ready to fire in on his end step. Thirst for Meaning, that's fine. Draw 2, discard, draw 3, discard 2, unless you discard an enchantment, in which case it's just 1. It is just 1 Omen of the Sea. So he's got nothing going on. Let's send in Bone Daddy. He's going to step on him. I doubt he counters that, right? And at this point, our Teferi will be countered, so let's pull out a counter, right? Let's get a counter out of his hand and try to start eating through them. Right, here's the first one. Perfect. Get out of here. Land again, coming in tapped. If we can now maybe try to slip a Teferi through. Well, no, I want to play a Narset, I think. And, yeah, just because we have 2... And he could have a negate or something like this, right? We could kill his Narset, I believe. Potentially. Let's castle into our Narset. Looking for the negate. Mystical Dispute. No, nothing. That's a little fun for me. I think instead of pushing to 2 for nothing, we -2. We're drawing. And we need to deal 5 damage.
Think, then act.
Killing that Teferi is important. This ultimatum is also pretty disgusting, though. Let's toss another Narset and leave his Teferi up. If we can survive with our Narset of the Ancient Ways and a Teferi on field, we can get this Inspired Ultimatum off without countered threat, right? So that's going to be our primary goal. Banishing Light. That's actually not the worst because we minused our Narset. So potentially, and I'm really hoping here, we can pay for that if we need. Let's do this. Because we can pay 3, that gives us 1, 2, 3, and she can push us to 4, I believe, right? Which does nothing for us. So let's pop off our Elspeth Conquers Death just immediately. Trying to pull out that last counter, so hopefully we can play our Teferi after. Doesn't get it. Let's grab his Banishing Light. That gives us our Narset back. We could push to 2, or we could do the -2 again, which I'm actually going to vote for here. A Deafening Clarion is perfect. He has no creature spells, and that's going to deal 3 damage to his Teferi. So, we have our Elspeth Conquers Death. We have our Narset of the Ancient Way. Our opponent has nothing. A full mid of cards, an Omen of the Sea. I'm not too concerned, except for that Dream Trawler is hot. You know what I mean? We are going to have to do something about that. He has no mana to counter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 we could push to, and she goes to 8. Oh my lord. It's really not good. Right, we don't have any instant speed. Right, we can't play our Teferi and Ultimatum. That costs too much with minusing our Narset. That wouldn't work. Or we could minus our Teferi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 3, leaves us 5. Let's play our Teferi. But if we minus, we can't play... we couldn't play our enchantment at instant speed regardless. So I actually don't like that so much. Let's plus. The mana we take doesn't necessarily matter because we have a Triome. Let's grab the red and sack this passage for a Plains. Then we have 4. This will be 5. And this costs 6, I believe, right? Or no, 7. So that's not quite enough. Let's minus on our Elspeth. Just get that back in our hand for the draw. Doesn't really do much for us. Again, we can still push up to 5, I guess. Let's go for it. Why not? What we really need is another Deafening Clarion. That's going to be ideal for us. If only we didn't discard the first. He has to tap it and discard a card. Right? I mean, it just untaps and he draws a card. So it's less than ideal. We do have Elspeth in play, though, so he's going to kill a Planeswalker, and we'll get the Planeswalker back. He chooses to leave Narset up, too, so this activates his counterspell ability, which sucks for us. Right, with our Teferi being off the field. I say we dig for a second Deafening Clarion. And Mystical Dispute is not so shabby. 1, 4. We could push to 5 again. And it's the same thing where he just taps for no apparent reason. We have to -2. And just force him to discard this way, I think. Right? I know he's just drawing cards, so we're stuck in a weird loop. But we have to do something. Let's thin our deck with a Fable Passage. Taking out an island here. Again, we're in a very bad position. I say we almost, because we do have a couple Planeswalkers in our graveyard, I think we just let it roll. I don't know. I know he can just discard another card again here, but actually he doesn't have to. It already has Hexproof. So we're just talking a strictly bad misplays. Right, we're just getting it on the field for later. Trying to stack this value. Looking for another Deafening Clarion so we can double cast it to kill his field. But that's going to be our only choice. Or only option. The Elspeth Conquers Deaths make it less desirable for him to kill my Planeswalkers, but he still decides to. Narset shuts down the draw, which is nice, right? But again, he's just at such a field advantage that is a little ridiculous. We have also our own Shatter the Skies. A 10% chance to draw Shatter, and we have a Mystical Dispute to back it up if we need. But again, he can just pay 3, which I guess he's paying like 3 for a counter, say, and then another 3 to deal with my dispute. So we really need him to go heavy on his land consumption. Except we take to Fairy, so he can't counter. Oh! My bro. Coming out with a loyalty. Playing the land. Like, he's dead next turn anyways. The draw 5 cards here is nice. And honestly, he can easily just do that. We should probably kill the shark, I guess. Or are we just going big? We have to kill the shark. Target player gains 5 life. That's me. Target creature or planeswalker or player. And then 5 damage to any target. That's the shark. And then I guess just auto pay. Right? As long as we're leaving our Mystical Dispute up. He can't counter because it's Fairy. And we get to draw 5 cards, which is really nice. That might help. Keyword might help. And I'm sure he can draw plenty to push everything back to a very weird spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess discarding a land's not the worst thing that's ever happened to us. So we want to make sure we continue to get more value here, because he's more than likely going to kill our Teferi next turn. 2 Conquers Death. It's weird, but unless he deals with our graveyard, hopefully we can continue this odd song and dance and somehow get another Deafening Clarion to deal with this Dream Trawler. We do have the Shatter the Sky, which is nice, but I foresee him dealing with that. Let's get rid of our lands. That's probably the best thing to do. Dream Trawler, again, wasting another attack on my Planeswalker. We could have been dead long ago, right? But he keeps hitting our Planeswalkers, which is fair, honestly. That's probably the correct priority. He does not need the life, and he's got plenty of cards in his hand, you guys. So, playing our Narset, trying to pull out some more counter spells, I guess. No such thing. Looking for more Deafening Clarions. Shark Typhoon's cool, but a Teferi shuts down his whole Gizig. So let's play that as well. If only we had an instant speed shatter. We should have waited. That might be a little bit of a misplay on my behalf. It'd be cool if we could bounce something cooler. We can't play anything for 3. Probably definitely should have kept that Teferi in our hand. So it's gonna die anyways, so let's -3 on nothing. Or actually on his Dream Trawler, because then he has to discard. At least we're getting some value this way, right? Gets rid of his lands. We're that much closer to finding another Deafening Clarion. Oh no, we only have 2 of them, you guys. That is bad news. We're SOL. We are running solely on Shatter the Skies. Less than ideal. I think he wants to kill our Planeswalkers with his Blast Zone. And then... yeah. And then he can just kill us with his Dream Trawler the old-fashioned way. But he wants to remove Teferi as soon as possible. Oh no, there we go. Nice. Still getting blasted. Down to 20. He's up to 37. He's been drawing a lot more than us. He's down to 35 already. How are we at 28? Oh my lord. More land. Where was that last turn? LOL. Sure. Whatever. Like, the thing is, we know he has 4 Dream Trawlers, right? So it's actually not that nice. I wish it was. Truly. That would be a lot better of a time for me.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers.
I guess looking for more shatters now. Shark Typhoon is a thing. He's going to be looking for more Dream Trawlers now. I'd like to get these Elspeths back in play. Right? Pull out a Teferi, pull out a Narset. Right, that takes his Dream Trawler, and he can definitely pay for it, which is a big time bummer. It is what it is. This is gonna be weird. Shark Typhoon as an enchantment in the house. right? That's really weird. We could Elspeth his Elspeth, but we're talking about him having counters. We could throw out our Narset, though, and then we're making a big ol' Sharky 4/4, and we also have our Dispute still open. And let's just plus here. And maybe, just maybe, we beat our opponent with, you know, Elspeth's -6 emblem. I don't know. We'd have to cast a lot of spells to deal that much damage, right? It's 2 damage per non-creature spell. So maybe in future matches against control decks, we want to rush the -6 on Narset, right? And then whenever you cast spells after that, because it's going to be a long match, you'll just slowly eat them away. Teferi bouncing his Elspeth, I think. Or does he just go straight for my Shark? Interesting, right? Bounces Elspeth. If he plays it, we can counter it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Play that Elspeth Conquers Death, baby. Right? Shark Typhoon's gonna keep pushing things out. You should deal with that. He doesn't. Wow. Let's kill his Teferi. That's step 1.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
He's gonna Elspeth this, and we don't have enough to block it. Right? So let's minus. Target creature or planeswalker. So we should have done that to kill his Teferi, but I didn't process that information in time, which is a little bit of a bummer. So what we discard doesn't matter, and the Deafening Clarion does nothing. You may. I'd like to submit 0. I guess it won't kill our Shark. Why wouldn't it let me? Because it clearly says you may. Oh no, I could have discarded a card, and I chose to, and I shouldn't have. Again, it doesn't matter. We'll give it, oops. A little bit of a misplay there. We also have our Castle Ardenvale, or sorry, our Castle Vantress, which we've not been paying attention to. So it's important that we start utilizing that, which I see he is now as well. We do have Warrant as an instant. It doesn't have any attacking creatures, and I don't want to fold into an immediate Shatter, right? If he plays a Dream Trawler, then I'm going to play my Warden, and that makes another Shark, so then we can multi-block the Trawler, ideally. He's playing Elspeth. We can't counter it because we only have the 1 Dispute. He's debating whether we have another. Also debating whether taking Narset is good, right? And I'd always... Ooh. Pretty groovy, you guys. I love the Dream Trawler. It's so powerful. We can double block it, though, which is nice. Yeah, my turn. Let's play our Teferi. Is that the move here? He's running low on cards, and he's gonna want to kill it anyways. I know, it's weird. We could have instant speeded that with Teferi. We probably should have done that. Right? That would have been better. Let's get an else. Nah, let's get Teferi out there. Trying to pull his counterspell out. There's no way he doesn't. Wow.
Sorry I'm late.
And then we have 3. We could go to 4, but I don't want to drop anything for 4. Let's push our Teferi up, right? Because we want to keep him on the field at this point.
No.
And I guess let's push our Elspeth, or sorry, our Narset up as well.
Many paths lie before me.
No attacks. We've quite the fleet assembled. Ooh, that's a little bit of some, right? All of the best games are long, right? Xavier, we're live on Twitch, you guys, every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. If you'd like to stop in and keep me company. Xavier here just said that this is a long match, and isn't it ever? We're gonna do the triple shark phoenix block or sphinx. Alrighty. Dream Trawler, Destructo. Now we're going to see a Shatter the Sky, I assume. Right? You got to deal with these sharks, so here's the Shatter. We can't counter it. We do get to draw, though. We get a second Mystical Dispute. That's quite helpful. And he cannot see the second copy either, you guys. Down to 21 cards in deck. Not looking too hot. But at the very least, this has been one heck of a match, you guys. Very entertaining. Into the Elspeth Conquers Death. Resolve. It's not blue, so he couldn't cast both of them. That's something we need to remember. And he does take the Sharknado. Wow! I'm a big fan of an Elspeth on an Elspeth, right? The last Elspeth played is the one that wins. Let's push our Narset up. Doesn't matter. And by golly, let's bounce our Elspeth, I think, right? So he doesn't have the opportunity to Elspeth our Elspeth. I like that. Land can come in tapped. And, yeah. Right? We have 2 Shatters. We have our Castle Vantress, which somehow I still think I've been forgetting about. Oof, that's a bad habit of mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to set a stop here so we don't forget, right? I'm almost 100% sure we've been forgetting that. Right? We do get to activate it now. I think for the first time, LOL. Resolving this. Warrant can probably stay. Right, it's one of our few ways to kill our opponent. This is a long match as well, so we don't want to get rid of too much. Let's push our Narset up, getting that much more life. Teferi gets plus as well. That's it, lads. Ladies and gents. Ghouls and ghosts. Pretty cool, right? Like, a 1/1's pretty tough these days, right? I guess we can flash block it. Ending our turn. His go. He's going to try to keep our Narset from going -6. He's just attacking me? He's not attacking Narset? I guess we will allow it. What in the world is happening? Life's not really the game we're playing here. And then into an ECD. Interesting. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. He can double dose on that. So it is what it is. Whatever. Does he take Teferi or does he take Narset? He's taking Narset. Okay. So whatever. There's nothing we can do against that. That just sucks. Right? I think we've got more Narsets in grave though, right? We've got one more. Our opponent down to 27. We're all the way at 18, so this is going to be an unprecedented end for us. A very ugly one. I don't think this is a problem, right? We can easily just shatter right here. Right? Just deal with it. Get out of here. I said get out of here! And again, it's our turn. And if we're going to win this game, it might need to be with a big old flying bird. Right? Again, Elspething his Elspeth. We want to make sure we're cycling our own Elspeths while exiling his. That's very important. I don't want to sack this to Teferi. Right? He's really important to us. Let's attack 4 damage. We only need 10 of those, right? So that's not the worst. Ending our turn here, setting a stop so we can use our Castle Vantress. I'm pretty sure I forgot about it again last turn, you guys. Ooh, Archon of Sun's Grace. Alright, so he's running out of cards in hand, you guys. If we can limit any draw engine that he might have. Cry. He doesn't want to discard an enchantment, so he's going to discard 2 cards. So it's only draw 1. Yeah. And then he wants to play his enchantment. Get the Pegasi. Maybe not. Alright, let's castle it up. I'm resolving that. Lands can definitely go. Thank you for remembering this turn. Whew. And then my turn. So, I mean, I know this is pretty fun. Let's try an Elspeth Conquers Death on the Pegasus. We have 2 Mystical Disputes, which he cannot counter any of our spells, actually, because Teferi. Oops, my bad. Right? Teferi can go up again.
Oh, I've done the
And let's get the big hit in with our 4/4. Again. Right? That's hot. Woohoo! Ending our turn, we have a Bone Crusher Giant on hand. We have 2 Mystical Disputes. And most importantly, you guys, our Castle Vantress. That's a gosh darn Shark Typhoon. Resolving this. It is what it is. Yeah. Ending our turn. I'm surprised he didn't do that. Oh, he couldn't cast it with Flash. He just did that at the start of his turn. Can you do cycling still with the Teferi out? You can. That's incredible. Still just wants to play the life gain trade-off. I don't get it. I do not get it. We're taking damage, no blockers. That's fine with me. Whatever. I'll bounce your shark with my Teferi, bro. Okay. Interesting. Our turn, so that means Castle Vantress time. A Shark Typhoon of our own will be quite nice indeed. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. My turn. Please and thank you. We're talking about bringing back Narset, please. She's going to get a loyalty counter on her, which is great. She starts out at 5, goes straight to 6. So that's pretty gross. And we also have another organic Shark Typhoon, which is great. He needs to deal with that somehow. So it would appear that Azor's Control is on its way out, and Jeskai Control is on its way in. What a match. This is the new Jeskai Control deck. I forgot to include Kruga, the Macro Sage, as my companion. So at the very least, you should do better than I've demonstrated today, you guys. That's just going to make the deck that much more powerful with that draw engine. My bad. Totes my goats. So thanks for watching, you guys. I'm live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. You can also watch us on YouTube every single day with unique uploads tailored for the free-to-play and beginner audience. Thanks for watching. If you found any value today, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and make sure you hit the bell icon, blah, 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 blah. Join the Discord, this and that. Most importantly, go have yourselves a great day, you guys. It's really nice out. Go get some sun, and we'll see you all tomorrow. If you liked today's video, be sure to check out some of our other content. We built playlists for our guides for beginners, and then we also have our greatest hits, which is a collection of our most popular videos. You can also subscribe if you're interested in winning up to 500,000 gems. So do that, tap that like button, send this out to a friend who you think might be interested in it as well, and have a great day.